I will die on that hill.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
You have failed this.
Love this show.
The sickest night ever.
Is this?
What are we doing?
No. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, 3-time podcast host. Alongside me, as always, my good friend Colton Keel, or as everybody likes to call him, Juan Keel for 3, Vanilla Thunder, William, whatever you want to call him.
I don't really get that William much often anymore, but
I told Colton the other day I'm gonna start calling William the Fresh Prince. And he's, well, maybe the Fresh Prince Jr., and then you can be the Fresh Prince.
I mean, every time I go somewhere and someone like out to eat and they always ask for a name, I always just say Will.
Will.
It's easy.
Will.
Nobody asked me how to spell it, and
Yeah.
really don't screw it up except for one L.
Well, yeah, you don't put one L. Or apostrophe L. EWE apostrophe LL.
Oh my.
Will.
Wes.
Well.
Wes.
Well, everybody, welcome back to the Rewatchable series. This is part 4. I've had a lot of fun doing this series. I think we've had some good conversations about some good movies and some okay movies, and I'm excited to cover the movie we're covering tonight because it's one that I know we both enjoy, and I know a lot of people that don't enjoy it, apparently.
Oh my.
So we'll get into that a little bit later, but yeah, I
Yes,
just
we
want to
will.
welcome everybody back to this 5-part series that we've been doing for the last 4 weeks, and hope you're ready for next week. Arian will be on with her pick for this series, which is actually a movie I have never seen.
I can't believe it. That's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. So I will be watching it before the next episode comes out, obviously, and I don't know if I'm excited or not. I've heard good things about it. I know what kind of movie it is, and yeah, I'm just interested to see if I actually enjoy it. So fun, and I'm ready. I'm excited to have Arian back on. See if she's feeding a baby.
Oh my. That's so true.
Other than that, Colton, how's it going? How's your week? How's everything?
Dude, man, it's going. Work is picking up a lot, getting busier, no matter what my boss says. So, yeah.
No matter what your boss says.
Oh yeah. So yeah, man, outside of that, just getting ready for the new kid and doing stuff around the house. It's a never-ending project. Yeah. What about you, boss?
About the same. Work is busy for me. I'm doing a lot of projects and stuff. Getting the house around, doing some painting, doing some stuff like that. Had Colton and Bree over this past weekend, 2 weekends before this came out, and did our friends' dinner that we did. I made some terrible food, and I'm not going to talk to anything about that.
I mean, we can. Well, okay. Since you brought it up, let's get this out in the open. Not all of it was bad. The only thing that was subpar, and I think I said this. You made the whitest Mexican rice I've ever had.
It was just bland.
I thought everything else had flavor, tasted good. The chicken was fantastic. I mean, talk about a swing and a miss, bro. Brother.
I found a recipe. I wanted to try to make it from scratch. Just didn't work out for me. I think there would have been some more seasoning in it. I think that would have helped. But yeah, I missed hard.
Anything would have helped.
Yeah, I could have peed in it and it would have been better. Yeah, no, I was so disappointed. Like the first bite I took of that rice, I was like, that's just a fail. Whatever recipe that was, I don't even know.
I was trying to get sauce on it. It's like, it's not that bad. It's not that bad with half a cup of sauce for every 3 pieces of rice.
I'm sorry. I'm glad everything else wasn't bad. Bree made some awesome 3 milks cake, tres leches.
That tres leches, and then those appetizer things.
Oh, those rolls weren't too bad. They They didn't really last though. They didn't last very long afterwards. Like I made a bunch of them so Sarah could eat them throughout the week, and went to go cut through one of them, and they just weren't as good as fresh. So
Yeah,
yeah, so they got tossed, but that's okay.
it happens.
Yeah, they were good. They were good the first.
They were
time.
good. They were good fresh though.
Yeah. But yeah, we had dinner. It wasn't a very great dinner, and then went to the park. Took William to the park. That was fun. Colton and I
Oh,
shot some
man.
hoops, and I'm the world's worst basketball player. So
No, it's all about getting that wind down on an outside rim. So
yeah,
you hit a couple.
I did. Not very many though. And then we just hung out, played some Oculus, trying to get Colton to
Dude,
buy one now.
Oh man, it's not me. It's not me. You got to
I
get
know.
hooked on it. That was fun.
All you got to do is tell Colton that there's fun games, and then let him play those games. Now he's got to come back over and play Golf Plus so he can.
Yeah.
Oh, that would sell you. I think that game would sell you on it.
I mean, I'm already there.
Yeah.
Like I literally want to play the Emperor in ping pong right now.
Oh, he would too. And I don't know who would win that because he's pretty good at it.
I don't know. See, I'd have to get the practicing in, and I've got the room down here in the basement, man. I could do some dangerous things down here with that.
The one you don't want to play him in is Beat Sabers. He somehow wins every time you play him in Beat Saber. I don't even.
Hey, he probably just hooks it up to Ozzy, and Ozzy just runs around.
I've seen. So on Christmas, him and Sarah did they battled each other in the basement. Down here they played Beat Saber. They were standing catty corner from each other, and they were just playing against each other. And Sarah's good. Sarah is good, and he still beat her. So I don't know.
I think I need a shot at the champ then.
It's like his calling. Beat Saber Pro.
Oh gosh.
But so yeah, anybody that loves their Oculus or has an Oculus, just send us an email. Tell Colton that he has to convince his wife to go buy one. That's simple. She'd never see him again.
Dude, there was a time, I don't know if they still do this or offer this, but the NBA playoffs, the finals, they offered a seat through the Oculus, and it's like a courtside viewing. Nice. And I would get it just for that.
Sit there on the court and watch.
I would sit there on the couch, and I'd just be going back and forth.
Yep. That would actually be fun. But I will say, I think that if I let you play that Golf Plus game, you would go home and buy it.
Don't tell me this, man. Do not tell me this.
But other than that, it's been a good week. I'm happy to be back doing this episode. Mandalorian season 3 ended.
It's over.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that here in a couple weeks. We got it.
I got things for that episode.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was asked how I liked it today, and I just said,
glad it's over.
Yeah, it was all right. It's okay, Din Grogu. It's okay.
Din Grogu, that's right.
But yeah, I don't know that a whole lot of other stuff came out this week. I think it's been kind of quiet.
Well, Netflix did some stuff. They did some trailers, I think, for Stranger Things.
Oh, they did? Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah. I have to go watch it.
Yeah, I think they did. I think it was mostly Netflix today and yesterday, maybe? Question mark.
Gotcha. So, now, Sarah and I did binge School Spirits.
No clue.
I think HBO Max. No, I don't remember.
Smell like Teen Spirit?
No. It's called School Spirits, and the Emperor and the rocker chick said you got to watch this show. It's really good. So we kind of pushed it off. We pushed it off, and finally I'm like, okay, let's watch it. We watched the first 3 episodes one night and then finished it the second night. It was a super fun show. It's a whodunit. So I know okay. It's your kind of show.
I am already intrigued.
Yeah. It keeps you guessing the whole time.
Is it scary?
And you're wrong the whole time. You will be wrong the whole time. No, not scary.
Like suspenseful, like Pretty Little Liars scary, or
no, here and there. There's some
That-
comedy. There's some.
That does absolutely nothing for me,
I
boss.
know I can't really explain it. Synopsis of it is just that it's a girl that dies,
Okay.
and her ghost is at the school with a bunch of other ghosts, and they're trying to figure out her murder.
The Ghost.
The ghosts are, yeah.
Interesting.
Trust me, just give it a try. The first episode, you'll get sucked in. You'll be like, okay, gotta watch this show.
It's on. What's it on?
Talk about something. I'll look it up real quick.
Well, the problem is if it's on HBO, because I could have swore that's what you said it was on HBO Max. The problem is that on my continue watching list is Doctor Who and Clara staring me right in the face, and I'm like, yeah, that's worth watching. We'll watch an episode of that.
Paramount Plus.
Don't have it.
I'll help you out.
We'll figure it out.
I'll help you out. But no, yeah, you gotta watch it. I'll help you out so you can watch it. At least try it and let me know what you think of the first episode. Because I kind of pushed it off. I didn't think I'd like it, and then once you get into the story, it's like, yes, kind of breath of fresh air for a show.
Interesting.
Yeah, and definitely enjoyable. Thank you, Emperor Rocker Chick, for the recommendation.
Thank you, Emperor. Rocker Chick, not so much. We beefing, bruh.
I know you are. I'm scared.
I know she might be. Yeah, I know you might be scared of her, but I'm not. I'm not worried about her.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get yelling going on here, I'm gonna hop over to question of the pod, and then we'll do some emails. So I got a question of the pod.
What do you got, boss?
It might kind of go with this episode. It kind of goes with our news that we shared last week, because we did tell everybody that we are having babies in October. I mean, our wives are having babies in October.
Hey, we helped.
I know. Yeah, we did some work. But I have a question for you. I've heard the story, but our listeners probably don't know. How did you meet your significant other? How did you meet Bree?
Funny story.
Funny story.
I don't know. I think it's funny, so we'll go with that. My buddy Jordan, who has not been on the podcast, who I hear about all the time about why he hasn't been on the podcast, from a certain person a certain guest we've had on a lot. It's his brother. He who shall not be named. I think that's what we should refer to him as.
Call him Din Grogu.
So Jordan, man, I think I just moved back from Florida, and Jordan's like, hey man, we've never partied together. Let's do this. Like, I've got a friend who's having some friends over. They're doing a little get together party out on the lake. I think it's up in Kendallville. And he's like, dude, why don't we go there, just hang out, party. Let's just have a good time. Let's just do that. I was like, okay, man, that sounds fun. It just seemed like a good time to, relax and, kind of take my mind off some stuff, because some big stuff was happening in my life at that time. I was like, you know what, let's do this. So we make the drive, and we get like a 12-pack of bottled, I can't remember what it was now.
Natty Ice.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Bud Light. And because I remember one time I tapped the top of his bottle, and he's just sitting next to this fire, and it's just going out. It took him like a solid couple seconds to figure out what was going on. But so anyway, Bree was the one who was hosting the party. And all the parties that I have been a part of growing up, in that aspect, it was always bunch of people, bunch of alcohol, and things go down and stuff happens, blah blah blah. So we get to this event, and we get there, and there's like 6 of us. Everyone brought like a side, maybe a 6-pack of something. Like, it was just completely different than what I was used to, and I almost felt like a fish out of water a little bit. Because it was just, It was just weird. And that's when I met Bree that night, and we just hit it off. Um, and then a couple weeks later, we went putt putting, and then we went to a bowling alley, bowled, had dinner, and then we and then we drove down to Bloomington for an IU basketball game. And this is when I knew I wanted to date her because we got stuck in traffic and I was just like on random on my phone with music, just blaring out the songs that she's doing. She's singing them right there with me. I was like, okay, I can see this working out.
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of my story there, man. What about you and Sarah?
Sarah and we can thank Sydney for this relationship because it was my junior year of college, Ball State. I was a dormer for all 4 years. I stayed in the dorms all 4 years in college. And that was the year that Sydney, myself, and Sarah all stayed in the same building. Well, one night Sydney was studying in her little lounge area they have there, and a bunch of guys from the dorm were running around the halls, knock knock ditching. They weren't ding dong ditching, but they were knocking on doors and running away. So Sydney was interested, so she poked her head out, and then at the same time, Sarah poked her head out of her dorm and was looking down the hall to see who knocked on the door. And they all just kind of congregated in the hallway. Well, Sid started talking to Sarah, and then it was a conversation that just kept going and going. They were hanging out for a while, and Sid goes, "I got a friend you should meet," and that was it. Sid,
I have my husband. She no Sid's thought processes was, Lucas hangs out a lot with this Gunner guy, and he takes a lot of my time away from Lucas. You know what I think the best thing to do is?
he needs a
is
he
to-
needs
he needs a girl.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sid. Yeah, Gunner thinks you're over here playing checkers when you're really over there playing chess.
Oh,
yeah,
you know
I see
what?
what you're doing.
Lucas and I still spent the same amount of time together.
I believe it. I believe it.
That was during the time of Fortnite, and that was all we did.
Oh yeah.
But no, so yeah, we ended up texting back and forth. Our first date was a Ball State basketball game, and after that, we went out to dinner, and yeah, just took off from there. And I think that year was the year that Darren actually did his North Carolina internship, and then so he was gone for half the year. So I had
Yeah.
nope, they never gave me a roommate, so I was in my room all alone. So Sarah pretty much moved in with me, so we spent a lot of time together. And then the year at my senior year, Darren did the same thing. He went off for half a year and did another. No, he did the Indy internship his junior year, and then North Carolina second year. So I never got a second roommate during those years. So it was just me, and Sarah and I spent day and night together. And yeah.
Nice.
So we pretty much lived together through college, and then once we moved out, she moved back with her mom, I moved back with my parents, and then yeah, the rest is history.
Baby, lock them doors and
Turn them lights down low.
Nice.
Yeah, but I thank Sid for my life like just the way that all that worked out and worked together. And when I was Lucas's best man during their wedding, and I think that was like the moment that I really thought yeah, if it wasn't for Sid, I don't even know that I would have been Lucas's best man. I probably would have just went off.
Just
the deep
been a
end.
dude.
Yeah, who knows who's that guy?
You ever heard of this game called Fortnite?
Oh yeah, and so I'll tell you what, everybody out there listening, Sarah hates Fortnite. You'll never love that game. When's the last time you played that game? Probably
Dude,
like
I
2
I
years
don't know.
ago.
I don't know about you, but I just saw on Fortnite they're gonna have some Doctor Who bundles and releases, and I'm like, I might re-download Fortnite.
Oh god. Nope, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man.
I'm not getting addicted to any other games. Golf Plus on the Oculus, and that's it. But yeah, there's your question of the pod.
Nice.
If anybody wants to share their story, we'd love to hear it. How you met your
Love to
significant
hear
other.
it.
I think it's always interesting to hear how people meet and people that
Everybody's got a
influenced it.
story.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a story.
Exactly. All right, so we got a couple emails before we get into what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
I'll start it off. First one is from somebody I mentioned earlier in the podcast, which is Arian. She will be on next week for part 5 of our 5-part series that we're working on. She says, "Hi guys. Oh, you better believe I'm ready to come back on and hang. Not gonna lie, I don't believe that I've seen the Mighty Ducks, any of them. Arian, go watch them all of them. Binge watch, 3 in a row. They're beautiful movies." She says, "Congrats, guys. Babies are a blessing. I knew about Gunner, but not Colton." And she says, "Yay."
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know Colton's excited,
Oh yeah.
and we're excited for each other. So it's gonna be a good time. I would have to say my favorite video game console of all time would either be the N64 or the Wii. I love the Nintendo for Mario Party, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong. For the Wii, my youngest sister Brianna and I would do Just Dance together with friends. I also love to do the Wii Sports. Yes, I always love Wii Sports. My all-time favorite game would be Guitar Hero. Still love that stupid game. I
That's a
remember
great game.
Oh,
Great game.
we used to play Guitar Hero all the time.
Oh, one of my best stories about Guitar Hero is I got it after we won sectionals my junior year, and I have already played it a lot at He Who Shall Not Be Named's house, and I it was Saturday morning before the regional game or the semi-state game, and I've played it for 2 weeks pretty much nonstop, and I beat Through the Fire and Flames on hard. And I flip that guitar over my head, walk out of the room, getting ready to go to the game, and I tell my parents, like, today's going to be a good day. And I had a game-winning shot that game.
Nice.
Thanks, Guitar Hero.
Thanks, Guitar Hero. She also says, "I remember you guys playing Xbox 360 constantly. Sports games, Crazy Taxi 3, Star Wars. We are actually looking into getting a Nintendo Switch so we can play games together, as well as introduce them to Wyatt, her 3-year-old."
Get it.
She also, so this is talking about 13 going on 30 and some of our takes on the movie. She says, "Speaking as a girl that has been through middle school, there is always a group that you just want to be a part of or aspire to be. It is very unlikely that you'll be a part of this group because it's already been set. And to be honest, it's completely not worth it. But that's a whole soapbox in and of itself. When you get older, those people no longer matter. This movie is adorable and fun. I love the message behind it and that it definitely doesn't pay to follow the crowd. Colton, it's not supposed to be a realist type movie. That is not how life really goes. It's just another feel-good movie that has a good message. You're supposed to feel good afterwards, dude. I have an opinion of a movie that you love, but we will leave that for my podcast. See you both soon."
I cannot wait for that take.
I'm excited to hear what movie she's talking about.
Me too. I am super excited about that. Yeah, because I don't know what it is.
Bring it on.
I mean, if it's They Live, it's over. She's not gonna make that. She ain't gonna make that.
She ain't gonna make it. What else we got?
Oh my. The next one we got here is just titled Episode 57. Starts out, "Well, I guess you guys can now officially say that the Called Guys do everything together, include having babies. Congrats to you both. I look forward to meeting both new babies in October. If either is a boy, Jeremy is a solid name." I appreciate the try. That's all I can ask for. I appreciate the cut. You took a swing, and I don't think you came close to the zone. At least in this house.
The thing is, I think we're both hoping for girls, so in that case, Bobby, great name.
Oh man. This part is to Samantha. "Thank you for the kind words. It is really nice to hear from someone who was a part of the reception and had a good time. I often finish up the night, leave not knowing if people had a good time or not. And Vanilla Thunder, did you hear that I got a 10 out of 10?
Give it a 10.
But you know it's going to be a good night when you're getting ready to start and you hear someone yell across the room, 'The Emperor's in the house.' Congrats again to Hannah and Caleb, two of the nicest people you will ever meet in your life. It was truly an honor to be a part of the entire process, and their bridal party going the extra mile on the entrance song was amazing. Which, by the way, that was
I got some great video of that. It's
nice.
so good. So
They
good.
they worked on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my! And truth be told, I am totally down to get the Call Guys wedding package up and running. And if any of the Call Guys listeners know of any podcast out there that they would want to do a collab or promo swap with the Call Guys, please email us at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com or goldenmojoent@gmail.com.
Yes.
Later. Golden J, better known
Emperor.
as the Emperor. So thank you, Emperor, for taking time out of your busy schedule and hitting us up at the callguyspodcast@gmail.com. So, gosh, can you imagine if that's on the website and somebody actually requests like a sit down?
That would be sweet, to be honest. Maybe one of these days it'll happen. Who knows? I mean, I've been doing wedding videos for 6 years now, 7 years. Spend a lot of time doing wedding videos, and I've learned a lot about the day and how it works. And I mean, I had my own wedding, and just like going to all these different weddings, you really understand how that process works. And I found that it is way, 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 way important to do the best you can and be as considerate as possible through the whole process. And whether that be helping, like in a down moment, helping set up tables or move things or help, like that's just what I do. If anybody needs help with anything, that's why I'm there. I do it. I don't ask questions. I just say, hey, you need help with that? I can help you out. And I don't know. I've always enjoyed just doing weddings and being there for other people's special days. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing people happy when you leave at 11 o'clock at night,
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so maybe one of these days. And if anybody out there that's listening is having a wedding coming up and you're around our area and you want some help, or you want a videographer or a DJ, those emails Colton just said, callguyspodcast@gmail.com and goldenmojoent@gmail.com. Check them out, send us emails, and we'll get something set up. Promo.
Simple enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for the emails, guys. I mean,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty short list this week, but that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. There'll be some more next week. Unfortunately, I think our subject from last week was something that people didn't really enjoy as much as we were hoping they would. Us getting our feet wet in a rom-com, and that's not what people expect from us, I guess. So this week we're gonna go a whole different direction. It kind of is a rom-com a little bit.
I could make a case that it is a rom-com.
I think it's more of a comedy, more than
Correct.
anything.
Correct.
But it is an absolute fun movie, and that movie is Wedding Crashers.
Hold it. This is getting confusing. You didn't always hate each other. There had to be some nice moments during the courtship, maybe? Or the wedding?
The wedding had to be fun.
You get the
have your families
decorations,
together.
families coming together. That's a nice moment. What'd you have to eat?
Crab cakes.
Are you kidding me? How could you not have a good
I love
time eating
crab
crab cakes?
cakes.
I love them.
And
They're
you got
phenomenal.
a band? Did you have a band?
Yeah.
Good or bad?
Who gives a shit? It's a great band. It's a bad band. It's like pizza, baby. It's good no matter what. There's music in the air.
shout, and
Yeah.
you hate it. A little bit
Hey, shout now. Jump up and shout now. It's a good time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rubbing up against each other. Just a couple of kids who like to fuck trying to make it honest. I get it. Guys, the real enemy here is the institution of marriage. It's not realistic. It's crazy. And don't do this for the other person. It's about saying yes to yourself and saying yes to your future.
Say yes.
And have some opportunities for yourself. I'm sure you'd love to be free.
So my first question, I'm going to come out, jump it real quick.
Okay.
Do you think, because we've both been married,
Mm-hmm.
you've been to a lot of weddings,
Many, 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 many.
I've been a part of some
Yeah,
weddings.
what a segue, by the way. Let me just say that was a perfect segue. Thanks, Emperor.
Would you have recognized somebody that would have crashed your wedding? Would you have recognized a wedding crasher? To the extent of what these guys did.
I think a lot of their stories being so far fetched, I think you would catch them. But as a bride and groom at a wedding, you're not paying attention to really who's there. Like, I mean,
I think I would have known.
yeah, I feel like I didn't know who all was there. And plus, like, our venue was so big, right? So like the tables were so far moved back, and like people were all the way in the back. There could have been somebody there that I had no clue that just came in to get some free drinks, and I would have never even noticed. Um, but the fact that these two were so involved, there's no way you wouldn't have noticed, right? Like,
Exactly. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I kept like. He's giving a toast to the bride and groom, and I'm like,
yeah,
no, there's no way. There's just no way. But yeah, I agree. If they were low key, hanging out in the back, yeah, I could see that, but not.
not front and center making a scene.
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's where you would notice. But yeah, if somebody would have been at my wedding that I didn't know and just kind of walked in and grabbed some drinks and then walked out, I would have never even noticed. But yeah, I don't think I could play it off like they did. I don't think there's any way possible I could go into a random wedding and say, "Oh yeah, we're Uncle Tim's nephews." On
Yeah.
his ex-wife's side. Like, how do you like explain all that, and why would that person even be invited to the wedding? It's
Yeah, that would have been my first question. It's like, well, why are you here?
yeah.
Anywho, that's just just curious. Just
Yeah.
curious.
I mean, as like, you create the list of people you invite, right? That's how it works. And then you go through and you make the invitations. If somebody shows up and you don't recognize a face, you're gonna be like, who's that guy? Why is he here? So yeah, I don't know. There's no way. No way.
Nope.
So let's start it out. Synopsis: Wedding Crashers came out in 2005, directed by David Dobkin. Goes like this. Jeremy and John are divorce mediators who spend their free time crashing wedding receptions. For the irresponsible duo, there are a few better ways to drink for free and bed vulnerable women. So when Secretary of the Treasury William Cleary announces the wedding of his daughter, the pair make it their mission to crash this high-profile event. But their game hits a bump in the road when John locks eyes with bridesmaid Claire. Talk about a bump in the road. This movie is, from the first 25 minutes of the movie is just like this one big montage, right? They explain what they do. They're wedding crashers. They're divorce mediators. That first scene is them in a mediation.
You want to throw us a couple miles?
Yeah. Can you guys please just stop talking? So you get to learn their career and what they do, and the next thing you know, it's just this 17-minute montage of them crashing. I think it was 17 weddings that they had planned, and it just passes that time. It's a really good way for them to pass almost 8 months of the year. Is just this quick montage of all the different weddings they go to, and it's a great back and forth. You get the Jewish wedding, you get the almost like I guess there's a Mexican wedding in there, there's a Chinese wedding in there, there's
an Irish wedding.
So they're going to all these different weddings, and they have all these different backstories that they come up with, and they go into them, and it moves by so quickly, but it feels good with that movement because you know that each of those is like a weekend. So you get these 17 weddings that they're doing, and it just flies by. And then by the time that ends, you get John, who is Owen Wilson, and he's like, dude, I'm just tired. I can't do anymore. And then Jeremy comes in, Vince Vaughn, and says, I got one more. And that's the Cleary wedding.
Yeah. We got a whale.
That's right. And I love that first opening half hour ish. I think it's just fun. It's upbeat. It's quick paced. you meet these two and you get to know exactly what they're doing. They explain some characters that come in later. And I think it's just nice. It's a really smooth first half hour that it really pulls you into the movie, and then it all just goes downhill for them. The movie itself goes uphill. So
I mean, does it really go downhill for both of them?
it's kind of on waves. It's like
I don't know.
it's Jeremy is downhill and then up, and then you got John who's uphill and then down and then back up. So but yeah. So Colton, let's do initial thoughts of the film. After this viewing, I know we've both seen this movie many times.
I can't tell you. After this time, it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched it. It's still funny. I don't know why, but it just is. There's just so many memorable scenes and little one-liners, and the stage 9 Klingon. Just the way that Vaughn and Wilson work together is fantastic. And did you know that this wasn't the first time they were actually in a movie together?
I was gonna look it up. I know they've done a couple of them. What was their first movie
that they did together?
Yeah.
I believe it was. Well, I want to double check because I know one off the top. Oh yeah, that's it. You ready for it? What do you think? What do you think that first movie is?
I have no clue.
Zoolander.
Gotcha.
What do you think the next one is?
I'm not sure.
Starsky and Hutch.
Okay, I do have Starsky on here for Owen Wilson.
Yeah, those are the first two movies they did together. They obviously weren't co-starring in him, and then they got together a year after Starsky and Hutch and did Wedding Crashers.
Dang. I don't feel like Starsky and Hutch is that old. I feel like, man, I guess it is. Wow. Very nice.
I mean, we're approaching 20 there, brother.
I know, it's crazy. Crazy.
So yeah. I just think that it just solidifies that those two working together in the movies that they made later on together.
Yeah.
This is the first one, and we know this is why it this is why it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's mine. What about you, man?
I'm gonna completely agree. This movie is just funny. Every time you watch it, makes you laugh. I can't tell you last time I watched it, but I know that it's like if it's on, I'm gonna watch it because I know it's gonna make me laugh. And watching it this time, I laughed out loud so many times. And the problem is, I have Sarah watching with me, and every time something funny happens, for some reason I have to turn to her, laugh, and explain it. And she just looks at me and rolls her eyes because,
oh my,
yeah, we'll get into that here in a little bit. She absolutely hated this movie, which is okay, but it's just there's just all those funny moments that make you laugh, and it just sucks you in. That's like right off the start, you just get pulled into it, and if you're watching it from the beginning, you're gonna watch the whole movie. There's no doubt. You're invested. All their shenanigans, everything they get into, their backstories that are just far-fetched and out there. And the whole time you're watching, and even this time watching it, you're just waiting for that moment that it goes wrong. And when it does, you're like, they kind of deserved it. At the same time, you feel bad for them because it's like all the work they put into these weddings. And even in the start with the big montage, it's like it's all going so right, and then John ends up calling the girl the wrong name, and she's like, "Are you completely full of shit, or
are you completely, or just?" He's like, "I'd like to say I'm only half, but I really don't know."
Yeah. So it's it's fun to watch because they think everything they're doing is they're getting away with, but then they could screw it up at any moment, and you're just waiting for that moment to happen. So initial thoughts, it's just a fun movie, and it's just fun to watch. And I know a lot of people don't enjoy it. A lot of the let's just get into this now, and then we'll get into some characters. This movie does not age to anybody in this that's around now and watches this movie. This movie does not age well. There's no doubt that that's not the truth. There's certain things that happen in this movie that definitely wouldn't be remade today. Like it would be a whole different film.
There's a lot of plot points in this movie that would not go well in today's 2023.
Yes. The certain things they do at the weddings, the reason they're crashing the weddings to get laid. That's why they're crashing weddings. They're going to get the women, have a good time. The grandma at the at the Cleary wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, that character. Yeah. You can't have that character in a movie at this point.
No, you can't.
And then there's a few other things, but man, it's just it doesn't age well. That's for sure. Made in 2005.
There's a little bit of a double standard, I feel like, between Vince Vaughn's character and Isla Fisher's character.
Yeah.
That to me, I feel like that was the biggest red flag that definitely would not fly today.
Yeah.
And just how that relationship was after the wedding. And if the shoe was on the other foot, then it wouldn't it would not have done well. It would not be received well at all, no matter how they would have written it. But like I said, I brother, I completely agree with you 100%. We'll get that. We'll get the question out that I've asked every week. If they remade this movie, would you rewatch it? I think the real answer is that they can't remake this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
I would not rewatch this if they made a Wedding Crashers 2.
Yeah, I think that could be interesting because the last scene from the movie is them driving off with the girls that they got the love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Vaughn gets married to Gloria, and then Claire and John go off, and they're kind of together at the end of the movie, and they're in a car and they're driving off, and they say, "Hey, there's a wedding, we can go crash it." I think that would be more interesting to see the Wedding Crashers 2 being the couples crashing weddings. I think that would be fun. Obviously you could make it as raunchy and vulgar as what this one is, but I think it would be a decently fun movie to watch.
Yeah. It could be interesting. The only problem is that it's 20 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it their kids? Is it their kids crashing weddings?
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But no, you're right. You're right. So let's get into characters before because we're mentioning names of course, like last week we're mentioning names and there's no backstory on these people.
Nope.
So we've got Jeremy Gray, who is played by Vince Vaughn. Obviously we mentioned this. He's a divorce mediator. He's a wedding crasher. And he's more the party guy. He wants to go out. He wants to live out his summer crashing weddings and partying. He is the one that at the beginning of the movie thinks that he is doing it just for the girls. He's never going to fall in love. He doesn't want to fall in love. And then he ends up marrying Gloria in the end. He ends up falling in love with a girl who's just as crazy as he is. And that's kind of his thing. He's the talker. He's kind of wild. He just never stops over explaining everything. And
there is no off switch on that man.
No, definitely not. And then you have John Beckwith, who's played by Owen Wilson. Same thing, divorce mediator, wedding crasher. He's a little bit opposite, I think, of Jeremy in the fact that he has fun crashing the weddings, but he's still looking for a relationship somewhere along the lines, and he wants to find that relationship. And towards the end of the montage, he's just tired. He's like, I'm done. I just want to stop. He's like, it's the end of the wedding season. Let's just move on and do our normal everyday life. And then they get the Cleary wedding, obviously.
I feel like that's the plot of the story. That's what this movie is about. It's about John and going from wanting to hook up and have that be his thing to finding a person to spend his life with.
Yeah.
And he knows that what he's doing, he's not finding that person that way. And that's just what I feel like this movie is about. And he finally finds that person, and he has to be this alias the whole time. And it just goes, it blows up in his face like it was going
Yeah,
to. I mean,
yeah, that's what I have. He wants Claire, but he ends up screwing up his chances because every moment he spent with her has been a lie except for the feelings he has towards her.
mhm.
And he tries to explain that and ends up getting his shit rocked, and then he's pretty much done. And then he goes off trying to crash weddings with Chaz and funerals and
Oh gosh.
the whole thing where he goes to Jeremy and Gloria's wedding, and he's like, I just got back from crashing a funeral, and everybody's like, oh. It's just, yeah, those moments. It's like,
Ridiculous.
oh my gosh. So let's move on to Gloria, played by Isla Fisher. She's the youngest daughter of the Clearys. She's kind of crazy, a little off her rocker. And she's kind of one of those characters that likes to tell people what they want to hear. And
Oh yeah.
being the youngest child, she's kind of the baby, and she gets what she wants. And then yeah.
I thought the casting of Isla Fisher and Rachel McAdams were fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought they were absolutely great. I felt like, especially Isla Fisher, she was perfect for this role.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I completely agree. Her and Jeremy end up getting married. Then you have Claire, who is played by Rachel McAdams. She's in a relationship with
One she doesn't want to be in.
yeah, exactly. I have in a bad relationship is what I have in my notes. She's just in a relationship that she doesn't. I don't necessarily know that she doesn't want to be in. I think she's only in it because it's what makes her dad happy. It's like he wants to merge the two families that Zach is from, and he wants that to be a part, like, so they can work together pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
She lightly falls in love with John during the whole middle part of the movie, and then realizes towards the end that she is actually in love with him. I think the best part is when she is opening up to Christopher Walken. William. Is his name William? William Cleary? I think. Yeah, William Cleary.
Secretary. Just call him Secretary.
Secretary Cleary. Yeah. When she opens up to him when they're looking at the flowers, I think that's like a really like touching moment in a movie full of funny moments. When he's like, well, which ones do you want? And she's like, well, I could go with this, or I could go with this. It kind of is like that moment where she's realizing that she should really have to choose between Zach and John and like make that decision. It's almost like a really nice parallel to the rest of the story, because she's having to like make a decision that she doesn't want to make.
Yep.
And I just watching it this time around, I really noticed that. It's like, that's kind of deep.
I think that's maturity, brother.
I think, yeah, it's deep if you think about it in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Secretary Cleary, who's played by Christopher Walken. He's the businessman, the dad. He is hilarious. I love his character. It's just Christopher Walken plays Christopher Walken. I feel like no matter what he's in, he is Christopher Walken. And like, yeah. Want to walk out on the pier and have a cigar, and Owen Wilson's like, a stogie? It's absolutely hilarious. It's so fun. Such a fun character.
Oh gosh.
But the best part about him is that he just wants what's best for his daughters. He doesn't care their decisions. As long as they're making a decision that makes them happy, he's happy.
As long as they're not another notch on the belt.
Yep. Notch on the belt. I don't even wear a belt. I'm beltless. Then you have Sack, who is played by Bradley Cooper, young Bradley Cooper.
Young Bradley Cooper.
Yes. Claire's boyfriend. He's pretty much just a d-bag.
Yeah, he is prototypical.
Arr, 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 arr. He brags about his job all the time, working with animals. I'm pretty sure he works with some like conservation society. I don't even know.
I can't remember.
I don't think they really explain everything about it. He plays such a good asshole in this like he does such a good job of being the guy that is just not fun to watch. But it's Bradley Cooper, and you're like, okay, it's Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, he does. He does play a really good guy you just want to punch square in the face.
Yeah.
And then you don't. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he does such a good job of you like hating him for 1 minute and then being like, oh man, I feel bad for the dude. But
Yeah.
he so had it coming. Like,
yeah, he had it coming. I think the main part that makes it like the whole time he's on the phone with his friends or he's talking to somebody at a wedding, he's like talking about cheating on how he cheated on Claire, This, I hooked up with this girl, I did this, I did that. Like it's like, yeah, this guy deserves to get punched in the face.
mm-hmm.
And then you get like the touch football scene where they're playing, and he's just like smearing Vince Vaughn every time he has the ball. And it's like, God, this guy's just on one all the time. But he does get what he deserves at the end. Vince Vaughn finally gets to rock him, and I think it's just a satisfying moment in the film where he just punches him square in the face at the wedding. And
Take that up with the Dalai Lama.
yeah. I do have one more character, which is Todd.
Oh gosh.
The son, the only son of the Clearys, who is the painter, the creepy younger brother, who has daddy issues.
He's got issues.
And if you don't feel uncomfortable watching this character, then you're probably very similar to this character. It just there's moments where you're just like, your eyes are kind of like, what is he going to do next? What is he going to do next?
I think that's a fair statement.
But that's all I got for characters. I don't know if you wanted to mention any others.
I did some research. Jane Seymour, who is Kathleen, she was actually in a movie that I was like, I gotta find it now because it's gonna bug me. But she was in a role, and I was like, I didn't know she was in that movie.
Jane Seymour. I don't think I had her on the actors list. I didn't.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how far I should go back.
Yeah. Well, while you're looking for it,
Yeah.
give me your favorite scene. What is your favorite scene from the movie?
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's just so many good scenes. I mean, I love the opening scene. I love how they end the opening scene with, if you want to throw a couple miles our way.
Yeah. I love that that's the argument. Who gets the miles for flying? Like, is that really how a divorce goes? Is it like who's gonna split the miles? Who's gonna take the boat? Who's gonna take the house? Who's gonna like? And they're just like, they just play it off so nonchalantly. It's like, well, yeah, you throw a couple our way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I can't find it. Dang it, that's frustrating. Anywho, oh man, I just nailed that mic.
You're good.
Okay. I mean, the quail scene we've talked about. I mean, you texted me about it. It was just so funny. Like, and then I think one of my favorite parts is Vince Vaughn. Every time he like takes one, quote unquote, takes one for the team, he's got a fantastic one-liner for Wilson, and it's just hysterical. So I mean, oh man, it's hard to pick one.
It is, and I think I have 3 listed.
Oh, what do you got?
We already mentioned the touch football scene. I love that scene where they're Owen Wilson's like, trying to spout off play. Well, Vince Vaughn starts it
Vince
off
Vaughn-
by
Vince
spouting
Vaughn.
plays, and he's like, "I don't know what Red 7 is. I don't know."
He's like Red 7, and he keeps pounding the ground. Red
Yeah.
7, Red 7. He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know what Red 7 means. He's like, come stand over here.
Yeah. Go run to the other side. And then the quail scene, like you said, I texted you right after I watched that scene. I texted you the line from it, and I was laughing out loud every time that scene happens. Every
We've been
time.
friends for 17 years, and I've been sneaking off to go hunting. I don't even know what a quail is.
Yeah. It cracked me up. It cracked me up so hard. But I would say one of my favorite scenes is the to get away from the funny, crazy scenes, just the sailing scene where they're out on the boat. And this is after John has told William Cleary that he knows all about sailing, and he's talking about sailing. He's like, "Oh, a sailor," right? And they finally get out on the boat, and he's sitting up front, and he's like, "Hey, John, do this, and this," and he's
Yes,
like,
Captain.
he's like pushing the sail one way, and Claire comes up and goes, "That's starboard, that's port. You need to go the other way." And he's like, "Oh, I sailed in Australia where everything's backwards." It cracks me up. And just seeing that the whole relationship between them, that him and Claire is fun, and that kind of it's surprising more to me that she didn't get more suspicious in that moment. Like, I thought he knew all about sailing, but he plays it off as he thought it was backwards, and it cracks you up. It's funny, but it's more of a lighthearted scene, and I always loved it. Least favorite scene?
Oh, man.
It's tough.
I think, to me, I'm gonna put this in with my least favorite character, and I'm gonna go with Chaz outside of when we first meet him. Will Ferrell plays Chaz, and that's just gold when you first meet Chaz at the house. Mom! I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
His character, I don't get why we needed it. I don't know what it did for the movie outside of that opening, outside of the scene of actually meeting him.
Yeah.
I mean, going to the funeral, he comes to the wedding, he brings his funeral dates to the wedding.
Yeah.
Like, why did they get Will Ferrell for that? But then I did some research. He's kind of like, it's kind of in the heyday, like early heydays of Will Ferrell. So I was like, I guess I kind of get it. But I was like, oh, come on. Like,
Yeah.
did we really need this character? But
yeah, I completely agree. I think that it's a fun cameo, but like we had talked about this during the week here, is that this is Will Ferrell in his lowest kind of. He's not big at this point.
Yeah, he is just on the cusp of getting it going.
Actor. Yeah, and at the time that this came out, he was the other actor. I think you used those exact words. He was the other actor that you would have got to play this role. Just somebody random. And now you watch it and you say, man, he's such a big actor. Why would they get him in this movie? Like, it's so, I don't know. I definitely wasn't a huge fan of his character, but
make me a bicycle clown.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just quote this. We could quote a lot of this movie.
Oh, I know. It's constant. But yeah,
I think what was yours? Did you say yours?
No, least favorite scene. I think the dinner with the grandma there, where she's just insulting everybody, and it just feels so hard to watch. It's so uncomfortable. I think that's like the one scene where you're like, yeah, this movie could not be remade because of this scene right here. Yeah. Yeah, it's cringy.
Hey grandma, why don't you just go to bed?
Yeah. But no, there's not a whole lot of terrible scenes in this movie. I think most of them are quotable, funny, laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go favorite character then.
Oh, Jeremy. He gets shot. He gets shot, and he goes, "I got me, I got me, I
Yeah.
got me." I mean, this Vince Vaughn, dodgeball Vince Vaughn, this Vince Vaughn, like the cameos in Anchorman Vince Vaughn, like
Mm-hmm.
are just, it's just what makes you love him. And the reason why he's so funny, it's his delivery, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
That's all he is. That's all it is. And he absolutely kills it every time. So, after the dinner where he John's going upstairs to change his shoes, and he sees the mom pretty much addresses him
Yep.
in a certain way. And he comes down. So what? Old lady showed you her nice cans. Tough day, huh? Or something like that. I just got jacked up.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
feel sorry for you. Yeah, John. Jeremy. Vince Vaughn just leaps and bounds makes this movie for me.
Yeah. I do enjoy Vince Vaughn in this, but I also enjoy Owen Wilson.
See, I feel like, man, that is like us to the T. Like you, helpless romantic, and I'm kind of the carefree. If it happens,
Yeah.
it happens. Like not expecting it, not wanting it, but running with it once I do find it. Like I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and I have John or Gloria. I think I like Gloria because she's just wild and crazy, and Isla Fisher does such a great job in this role. But I like John because he's the more relatable of the two between him and Jeremy. He's got like that nice like laid back. Plus, it's Owen Wilson. And you do get the wow at one point. He goes wow. He just everything up to the Cleary wedding. He's like fun and super crazy, and then once he realizes that he's fallen in love, he just becomes like a super relatable character, and you're just like, I like this guy. I really do. Gloria is just fun because she's like the spoiled brat that gets whatever she wants, but she's also like playing. You get the two guys that are playing everybody, and then you get her who's playing Jeremy, and like trying to make like her seem like what he would want. And then when he realizes that she's kind of like lying to him, he's like, okay, this is a girl I want to marry.
Yep, this is the female version of myself.
Exactly. So yeah, that's those are our favorite characters. Let's talk actors before we get into why this movie's rewatchable. You got Vince Vaughn as Jeremy. He's in Dodgeball, Fred Claus, Couples Retreat, Jurassic Park, Zoolander. He's been in so much stuff. It's hard.
He's in For Christmas, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Bruce. I know if you're listening, if you made it this far, that's for you, Bruce.
Owen Wilson, Starsky and Hutch, Night at the Museum, Loki, Cars, Meet the Fockers, Shanghai Noon, plays John. Isla Fisher, Now You See Me, Scooby Doo, The Great Gatsby, Hot Rod. Rachel McAdams, The Hot Chick, Mean Girls, Doctor Strange, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, then you get Christopher Walken, Bradley Cooper, Will Ferrell. Just a
this cast. I mean, I don't know if you know. Do you know who Henry Gibson is?
I'd have to look at a picture.
He's the priest.
Okay.
He's in Blues Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of stuff. He's always he's got that face. He's got that face that you look at and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've seen that. I know who that is. And I actually think he's in the Cornetto trilogy.
Mm.
Or at least I thought he was. Now it doesn't look like it. No, he's not in the Cornetto trilogy. Forgive me.
Oh
He is
gosh,
not in
the
the Cornetto
the
trilogy.
Cornetto expert.
He is not. But anywho, he's got a really really well known face.
Yeah.
Man, it's just this. I mean, you got Bradley Cooper like right
Yeah.
on the cusp of greatness. You
Yep.
got Will Ferrell. Like,
Same. Yeah.
there's so many people in this movie.
Christopher Walken, who's done, so many great things. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it is a cast of actors and actresses that made big names for themselves and did great jobs in everything and pretty much anything that they're in and that you watch. And I think we're going to get in the last question here is why is this movie rewatchable? And I think that plays a big part of it. It's got a cast that the faces, the names. The way they act, the way they play the characters is amazing. The story is fun. It's lighthearted at some points. It hits you hard some points, and then it's absolutely hilarious at other points. And then I think most of all, it's a quotable movie. We've already quoted it probably 70 times in this episode. I mean, it's just how it goes. Once you watch it, you're like that. Those quotes are gonna be stuck in the back of your head for the next month until you watch it again.
I think you nailed it right on the head for me. And my point was the characters, the cast make this. It's just not like Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn and then a cast of others. Because then you go to the second tier, which I would personally put in the second tier, I would put Isla and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
The second tier. And then you go to the third tier. I would put Watkins and Cooper in the third tier. Like every level. And then throwing in the fourth tier if you want, Will Ferrell. Like,
yeah,
there is a character in every scene where they're doing, like, they're shining. That character is shining in the scene.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the main reasons of why it is rewatchable and it's a quotable movie for that reason, because there is somebody that has done something that you have definitely seen 1,000 times in this movie, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe they got this person for this movie. How'd they get this person? Like,
yeah,
it's just, with it being so old now, and you go through and you look, man, I can't believe this person was in this movie, and then you just love that character and that actress or actor even more.
Yeah.
And they just, the cast, I think the cast makes this movie rewatchable.
I agree. I literally have great characters, great actors, awesome story, and quotable. And that hits every single part of the description of being rewatchable that we had when we did our top 5 rewatchable movies. I mean, I just think that overall it hits every single aspect of that term, and I think it does. Everything does a great job to make it that way, and so I'm gonna say absolutely yes. This movie is rewatchable. I enjoy it every time I watch it, and I don't even know what a quail is. So
I was explaining Birdshot to you and Sarah tonight, this week.
Yes, you were.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's just so funny.
I got me.
The fact that he just gets shot directly in the ass, and then you get the scene immediately after where Isla Fisher's in there just pulling
bent
him
over,
out.
getting it pulled out.
Yeah.
Hope you flip over your bike.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we're going for a ride down to the beach. I love
Hang in
that.
there, big guy.
Every time he's down, Rachel McAdams looks at John and goes, "Oh, your friend's down again." He goes, "He's all right. He's."
No, your brother. Aren't they brothers?
Oh
They're
yeah,
brothers.
yeah, your brother. Yeah.
Man, your brother.
Yeah.
He's fine.
He's fine. He's good. He's good.
It's too funny.
Yeah. What else you got? You got anything else? We kind of did your question already a little bit
Yeah,
earlier.
we knocked it out early. I felt like it had to be said.
Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah.
really need to come back around on it. I mean, I think another reason what makes this movie rewatchable is that they just don't make these movies anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's for, our age group, you know, like these movies are going to be like
Cult
this
classics.
could be, yeah, they're going to be the cult classic. I don't want to say it's definitely not on like the bridge of like Blazing Saddles and how that movie definitely couldn't be made today. But I mean, there are some things that you could say, yeah, there's a reason why they couldn't remake this. They couldn't make this movie in today's world society.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the unfortunate part is I think a lot of people's arguments are going to be that. Like this movie's not rewatchable because of the things that it said and did. Right.
Yeah.
And I completely 100% understand that. The thing for me is I have seen this movie so many times.
Well, and like I said, it's how we grew up.
Yeah.
We grew up way
Watching it.
different than these kids have grown up, and this younger generation has grown up compared to when our kids can watch this movie. Like, can you imagine? Who knows how movies are gonna be when they come to that age?
Well, and that's the other thing too, is you think about movies like Superbad and Kick Ass and like movies like that. Like if you enjoyed those movies and you don't think they do anything wrong, then you'll love Wedding Crashers. If you don't enjoy those movies, or you do enjoy those movies and you say Wedding Crashers isn't bad, I would say reevaluate that, because those movies do way worse things, say way worse things, and depict people in way worse ways than Wedding Crashers ever did. I mean, there are a couple characters where you're like, I don't really like that character, but I think there's a lot of double standards that go along with that too. People love Superbad, but say Wedding Crashers did, that the way they said that is completely wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things you have to cut out if you agree that Wedding Crashers. If you're willing to die on some of those hills that you die on for Wedding Crashers, there's a ton of other movies that you have to also cut out.
Exactly. And it's the time period that it was made. That's for sure. Obviously, we talked about this earlier in the week. There's a lot of things that in today's society are completely different than what it was like in 2005.
Oh, you think? Just
and
a little bit?
It'll always, and it's going to be like that forever. So, I mean, it's never going to change. And that's okay. This movie is still available to watch, and I'm going to watch it every time I get the chance to watch it. So, absolutely enjoy it.
One of the few movies that I probably see on TV that's playing, and I'll stop to watch it.
Yeah. Fully agree. Very nice. Very, very nice. Very fun movie. Yeah. Just overall, just a great watch. If you're watching along with us these past 4 weeks and ready to watch next week's movie, please let us know what you think of them. Send us an email to callguyspodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of Wedding Crashers, 13 Going on 30, D2, The Goonies. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of all those movies. Let us know if you've been listening. We enjoy all the feedback. We enjoy hearing from everybody. And if you get a chance, just, shoot us a message on Facebook. Shoot us an email. Let us know.
Yeah, man. I agree. I mean, it would be cool if we did get a couple emails saying, I have watched every one of these movies, and these are the movies that I think are rewatchable. These are the ones that I don't like. I think that would be really cool. So if we get a couple of those, that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Do we want to plug the next one? The one with the guest?
Yes. So like we said at the beginning of the episode, Arian will be here next week for the 5th installment of the Rewatchable series, the final episode of Rewatchable series. She's been looking forward to being on the podcast since her first email that she sent us. Got her on for episode 52, had a blast with her on here. So I'm excited to have her back to talk about a movie that she loves, a movie that I've never seen.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
pretty sure a movie that Colton loves too. I'm thinking at this point.
Oh my, this is gonna be this is another one of that my wife's favorite movies. I don't know why. It's weird, but
All
oh
right.
my.
Well, that movie is Anchorman.
The
So,
Legend of Ron Burgundy.
yes, a Will Ferrell film. I'm excited to watch it for the first time. Not gonna lie, I'm excited to watch it.
I kind of wish I was there for it. I wish I could be there for it.
You just want me to come over on on Tuesday night and we'll just sit down and watch it?
Done.
I'd do that. I'd watch it with you
Oh gosh.
just to see my reactions. I know a lot of the actors in it. I'm excited to watch it. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's great.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so next week, Anchorman. So if you're watching along with us, that's the movie you need to watch this week. So yeah, go check it out. Let us know what you thought of our episode about Wedding Crashers, and I want to know your thoughts. I want to know everybody else's thoughts on the film. I'm very interested to see the different perspectives on this movie. So yeah,
because I think there's going to be a couple people who don't like the movie.
oh, I completely agree, and I think you're right. I've already heard some opinions that people that didn't like it. So
Ooh, saucy.
Yeah. All right, you ready to get out of here?
Dude, man, let's bounce.
Let's bounce with the food, baby. Okay. So, everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. We release a video on YouTube every Monday, along with the podcast on all your favorite podcast sites. And if you have any recommendations for the question of the pod, future episodes, anything you want to hear from us, you want to send us your top 10s, top 5s, lists from past episodes. We have a lot of stuff coming up in the future that's going to be exciting. So if you have any ideas for us, we'd love to hear them. You can send us emails, thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. You can also check us out on all your favorite social media sites, whether that be Facebook at facebook.com/thecallguyspod, Instagram @thecallguys, and TikTok @thecallguyspodcast. I have been consistently posting, so please go like all the pictures, go like all the videos, the reels, everything I put out. I'd love to get as many clicks on all that stuff as possible. So if you're on Facebook, give us a follow. If you're on Instagram, give us a follow. TikTok, follow us. YouTube, like, subscribe, click that bell, get those notifications. Other than that, all the information is in our podcast notes. If you want to click on any links we have down there, our link tree can take you just about anywhere. So when you're done listening to us, go check out all the other podcasts on the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. You have the Golden Image Podcast, the Murdnerds, the United States of Paranormal, the Court of Books and Booze, and the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. All those podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And all their... Colt just shaking his head. Indiana Chiefs fans on hiatus until next season, and we will come back for season 2.
No one cares.
Everybody cares. But yeah, all their information, podcast notes. If you want to go check out any of those other podcasts, we'd love the support on all of them. Get everybody to as many views as possible. Golden Image hit 4,000 by June 30th. Slam Jam September 2023.
And I think if we make that Slam Jam available, I think Gunnar and I are going to duet a song.
Yeah. Be ready. Be ready for it. It'll be exciting stuff.
Just got to play the song.
Colton, if you got nothing else.
I got nothing, brother. Love you, man.
We're going to get out of here. Love you, brother. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. See you next time. A little bit louder now, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now.